Hello, my name is Sandra and this is my film. I have to admit I have no modern day connections with the railway. This is my father Donald from Landrake in Cornwall. Plus force. Very fashionable man, my dad, in those days, apparently. And my mother was Phyllis from Millbrook in Cornwall. This would be, at the time, I would assume, of her engagement. I never realised she looked as young as that. Well, it was my mother's photograph taken, I think, in the village where we came from, Millbrook. The closest town is Plymouth. They got married in 1938 after being engaged for 2 years. Before their marriage, Donald was an apprentice boat builder. My dad is the first one on the left. After his apprenticeship, he was transferred to Devonport Dockyard, where he became a fully fledged boat builder and carried on through the early years of the war. During the war, my dad travelled around many docks, inspecting ships, and ended in Liverpool. My mother visited him on many occasions by train. During the wartime, the trains were very busy, especially with troops, but because she was expecting me, she was able to get a seat. Although my parents were Cornish, I was actually born in Liverpool. Oh, I'm very fond of that photograph. That's how I remember my dad, because he died a couple of years after that. This is my cousin Raymond. What I remember of him really is taking me train spotting, and he didn't want to do it. Taking girls? Blimmin' maids, that's what he called me. Yes, he had a book with all the numbers of the trains in, and he had to cross off all the numbers of the trains he saw. Yeah, the next train experience was in 56, 57, when I was going to grammar school. During the bad weather, the coaches couldn't get out of the village of Millbrook because the hills were too steep. Luckily the tide was high, so the ferries could come up, and once we got to Plymouth we had to walk to Devonport station, where we crossed back into Cornwall to Saltash via Brunel's railway bridge.